What random act of kindness backfired in the most unexpected way? The GoFundMe. I started to help my homeless neighbor raised $50,000 in 2 weeks. 3 months later, the FBI was at my door, and everyone I'd helped was either dead or in prison. Agent Ramirez showed me photos of children who would never see their families again, all because I thought I was being a good person. I first saw Jerry on a Monday morning in October, sitting against the brick wall outside my apartment complex. Thin, weathered face, military fatigues that looked authentic, holding a cardboard sign that read, "Homeless veteran, anything helps, God bless." Something about his posture reminded me of my dad after he came back from Afghanistan, before the nightmares got too bad. Jerry was always polite when I dropped coins in his cup, never pushy or aggressive like some of the other homeless people downtown. He'd look me in the eye, say thank you like he meant it, sometimes share a few words about the weather, or ask how my day was going. Real conversations, not the desperate rambling I'd heard from others struggling on the streets. After 2 weeks of seeing him every morning, I started bringing coffee and breakfast sandwiches from the convenience store. Jerry would light up when he saw me coming, not just because of the food, but like he genuinely appreciated having someone treat him as human. We'd talk for 10 or 15 minutes before I headed to my job at the tech company. Served 2 tours in Iraq, Jerry told me one Thursday, unwrapping the sandwich with careful hands. Lost my squad in an IED explosion. Couldn't handle coming home to nothing, you know? Wife left while I was overseas, took the kids, been trying to get back on my feet ever since, but it's hard when nobody wants to hire someone with PTSD. The story broke my heart because it sounded like a dozen other veterans I'd read about online. Good men destroyed by war, abandoned by the system they'd served, left to survive on streets in the country they'd fought to protect. I started researching homeless veteran statistics, reading articles that made my stomach turn with anger at how we treated our heroes. Jerry had specific details that made his story believable. He knew military terminology, could describe the layout of forward operating base Liberty in Iraq, talked about specific units and commanders with the casual familiarity of someone who'd actually served there. When he mentioned missing his daughter's birthday while deployed, his voice cracked in a way that seemed genuine. "She turned 6 while I was in Baghdad," he said, staring at his coffee cup. "Promised I'd FaceTime for the party, but we got hit with mortars that day. By the time the all-clear sounded, her party was over. She cried for hours, according to my wife. That was the beginning of the end of my marriage right there. I started looking forward to our morning conversations more than I cared to admit." Jerry was intelligent and articulate when he wasn't putting on the homeless veteran performance for other passersby. He asked thoughtful questions about my work in software development, seemed genuinely interested in hearing about my relationship problems with Rebecca. "You're a good man, Ryan," he told me one morning after I'd complained about Rebecca's criticism of my spending too much time at work. "She's lucky to have someone who cares about helping people. Not everyone would stop to talk to a guy like me, much less bring food every day. Your kindness means more than you know." That's when I got the idea for the GoFundMe campaign. Jerry needed more help than daily coffee and sandwiches could provide. He needed enough money to get cleaned up, buy decent clothes, find temporary housing while he looked for work, a real chance to rebuild his life instead of just surviving day by day on charity and spare change. I spent hours crafting the perfect campaign description, including everything Jerry had told me about his service and struggles. Help Jerry get back on his feet seemed like the right title, simple and direct. I used my phone to take photos of Jerry with his permission, making sure to capture both his dignity and his obvious need for assistance. Jerry was hesitant about being photographed at first. "Don't want to seem like I'm begging," he said, adjusting his worn baseball cap. "Got some pride left, you know." But when I explained how the photos would help people connect with his story, he agreed. He even combed his hair and straightened his shirt, trying to look as presentable as possible. "Jerry is a 43-year-old Army veteran who served our country with honor in Iraq," I wrote. "After losing his squad and suffering from PTSD, he's been living on the streets for 3 years. He's not asking for handouts, just a chance to get back on his feet and rebuild his life. Every dollar helps him take steps toward independence and stability." I set the goal at $5,000, figuring that would cover first month's rent, security deposit, basic clothes, and some groceries while Jerry looked for work. It seemed like a reasonable amount that wouldn't overwhelm potential donors, but would make a real difference in his life. I shared the link on my social media accounts and asked friends to spread the word. The response shocked me completely. Within 24 hours, we'd raised $800. By the end of the first week, donations had climbed past $3,000. Full story on my channel and linked below.